Tonight, 3 New South Wales councils unite on water restrictions and safety at the Port Pirie smelter under the spotlight.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, a lightning strike is being blamed for sparking yesterday's Green Patch bushfire, which tore through more than 100 hectares of farmland. Crews returning to the scene today to mop up hotspots.
A lone CFS truck roaming the blackened landscape. As 79-year-old farmer John Hyde begins counting the cost.
We've got fencing around vegetation that did get affected. That'll probably have to be repost.
Strong winds fanning the flames yesterday afternoon. Authorities battling the blaze from the ground and air.
They did a magnificent job.
Thankfully, it was quickly contained, but confusion began mounting over what sparked it.
We found out eventually we had one bolt of lightning here at 8:15 in the morning, and it basically took off.
Never heard of anything like that before.
Elaine hearing the terrifying explosion from her kitchen.
I really thought it was a big bomb.
Racing around the property, she couldn't see where the sound came from. It wasn't until 4 hours later when a smoke cloud appeared on their doorstep.
And that was when all hell broke loose.
It's another blow for a family who have had their fair share of bushfire disasters, losing nearly everything in the 2005 Wangari fire.
We lost a lot of sheep, a lot of land.
Emergency crews have been monitoring this area overnight and this morning for any hotspots as the clean-up effort slowly begins.
We lost a lot of vegetation, and that's what's upset me today a bit.
Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Councils and politicians across the Barwon-Darling Basin have joined forces, calling for new water management rules to be reviewed and reformed. It comes after pumping rules were introduced to improve water flow, only to be dropped soon after.
From the central Darling to the Silver City and the Murray River to Macquarie Street, a growing chorus of community leaders say the Barwon-Darling Basin's water rules aren't up to scratch.
Well, we appreciate them and believe they're a step in the right direction. They need some tweaking.
3 local councils, including Broken Hill, saying the newly introduced resumption of flow policy neglects towns in the Lower Darling.
This is an ongoing fight, and it's been one that we've had for many years. The reality is we need to think of the whole of the river.
Among their concerns, restrictions being changed by forecast water levels, not real-time data, meaning those downstream are potentially losing days of water flow.
Our concern is that the water must go over the weir before the trigger is pulled, and so the water can get down the Darling.
The council say they'll be writing to the state government. Local MP Roy Butler following suit, saying he's requested an independent review of the policy.
For so many years, decision-making around water has not been accessible to people. It's caused frustration and anxiety as they look at a dry river.
Local leaders confirming they'll raise the issue at the upcoming Murray-Darling Association meeting.
Even though we live 100 kilometres from the Darling River at the least, it is a part of us. It's our closest water.
The Water Minister's office was contacted for comment. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The Australian Workers' Union is calling on Port Pirie's Nyrstar smelter to improve safety procedures following alleged near-miss incidents. Nyrstar is defending its safety protocols and says it works closely with its employees. Shari Hams has more.
Nyrstar here in Port Pirie is once again under the spotlight, with the Workers' Union calling for better protection for staff. It follows multiple incidents which they claim are near misses. The Australian Workers' Union says these incidents include 2 molten lead explosions in the smelter refinery, one incident occurring in May 2019 and the other in November of 2020. Safe Work SA also reported an incident in 2019 in which molten material and gas escaped from the smelter's newly built furnace. The union publicly raising grave fears the incident could have led to seriously injured or killed employees. In a statement, Nearstar has defended its processes, saying it's committed to delivering the highest level of safety for its employees and operations. It says it will continue to proactively work with stakeholders and denies any suggestion it doesn't comply within safety policies. But tensions are set to rise, with the union pleading for changes to be made and precautions to be put in place. The union did not comment before deadline. Nearstar says it will continue to work with its employees and SafeWork SA.
A 49-year-old Waiala man will face court after police allegedly uncovered a cannabis crop at his residence. Authorities searched a Waiala address around 10 yesterday morning after receiving information from the public. Police allegedly found 8 cannabis plants in the rear shed. The occupant was reported for cultivating cannabis and will appear in court at a later date. A woman will face court after she was detected drink driving in Port Augusta at the weekend. At about 10:30 Saturday night, patrols breath tested the driver of a Suzuki sedan. She returned a reading of .173, with police also locating a pint glass of beer in the vehicle's cup holder. The 37-year-old was reported for drink driving, issued with an instant loss of licence, and her car was impounded. Still to come tonight, Hawke is set to host a state-of-the-art renewable energy battery, and medical students welcome to Port Augusta for a year-long placement. Welcome back. Hawke will soon be home to Australia's first utility-scale vanadium flow battery. The project, developed by Yadlamolka Energy, is said to be part of the company's continued push towards sustainable energy.
It's a new trial that could revolutionise the future of battery storage in Australia. Set to be built near Hawke, this vanadium flow battery will be the first of its kind in the Southern Hemisphere.
This vanadium battery is actually very exciting. It's an 8 megawatt hour capacity battery, partnered with 6 megawatts of solar panels, so 1,500 solar panels.
Vanadium batteries are an electrolyte, a fluid, and you can have power flowing from one big tank of this fluid into another tank, and the tanks can be as big as you want them to be.
He says this new type of storage is more durable and sustainable in comparison to its lithium-ion versions.
Is in the sort of the 4 to 6 to 8 hour duration. It is already lower cost than lithium in that space.
The $20.3 million project is set to create up to 100 jobs during the construction period, with the battery expected to be up and running by the end of this year.
Probably a year or two after that is when we'll be able to say with certainty that this has actually been a successful trial, and so then we have a new technology which everybody in the public and commercial world will benefit from.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The debate for Kimba's proposed nuclear waste facility continues as Parliament restarts again this week for 2021. Set to be one of the biggest political disputes this year, Federal Resources Minister Keith Pitt says a coalition will push ahead with the proposal. One Nation, along with the Labor Party, have both refused to back the bill without changes. Minister Pitt telling News Corp the site would create 45 permanent local jobs for Kimba and attract millions of investment dollars to the town. Spencer Gulf fishers can now travel to the state's southeast to catch a snapper. New bag and boat limits for those wanting to catch the popular fish in the allocated zone are now in effect, with reporting a catch also now mandatory.
With the Spencer Gulf snapper ban still in effect, our local anglers are now turning their attention to the southeast to catch one. Under the new arrangements, which applies to the state's southeast waters, a bag limit of 2 snapper per person will apply. A boat limit of 6 snapper when 3 or more people are fishing on the boat is also now in effect, and reporting any snapper catch is now mandatory.
As of the 1st of February, the season opened in the southeast, which is basically Victor Harbour south.
The Minister encouraging fishers to download the South Australian fishing app.
When they catch a snapper, they take a photo of that snapper and log it and record it on that app so that we know how many fish are being caught.
For this Whyalla local, Steve Storick, he says it's not viable to take his fishing charter business down to southeast waters, saying he hopes the Spencer Gulf snapper ban will soon be reversed.
I don't know the area very well, and it's just not affordable for us operators to travel down that far. Certainly do hope that something like that could happen down here in the Spencer Gulf.
The Minister says there is still work to be done across the Spencer Gulf, with the recent release of fishlings aimed at helping increase the growth of snapper numbers. Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Medical students were welcomed to their new home of Port Augusta last night, as a wave of fifth-year students begin their clinical placements across the region. They say they're looking forward to engaging within the community.
There are future doctors, and now this group is settling into life in Port Augusta.
I've always been interested in rural health, and having not lived out of home for very long before, I thought that coming a few hours away from Adelaide would be really nice, and I'd heard great things from other students who had done the program here.
For local girl Asmara, she says choosing her hometown for her year-long clinical placement was a no-brainer.
Very excited to come back, and one of the main things that drew me to come to a rural community is the shortage of doctors and GPs and health professionals in general in rural communities.
The program supporting rural medical students for the past 15 years.
This year we've got 44 students in those sites, and that ranges from Port Lincoln all the way through to Ceduna, all the way to Roxby, all the way to Broken Hill, all those lots of sites in between as well.
Students say they are looking forward to the opportunities regional communities offers them.
Even just the variety of things that I got to see in the hospital and actually do and help with. I got to scrub into surgery, which I wouldn't get to do in Adelaide. Yeah, I'm definitely keen to get involved as much as I can. I'll still try and study though.
When you see all the community coming together and welcoming us into the town, it just really reassures us that this is a fantastic place to live and work.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us. Our local wildlife park's on the hunt for new volunteers, and tickets now available for the St. Pat's races. Parents are being reminded of their responsibility to be COVID safe, with the school year beginning in Broken Hill later this week. Those with children in preschool, kindergarten or years 1, 2 or 7 will be the only parents allowed into the school grounds to drop off their children. Other precautions like physical distancing and hand hygiene must also be followed. Petrol prices in South Australia are on an upwards trend as the RAA prepares to provide a free live price app for its 600,000 members. The state government will collect details of fuel price changes and make them available within 30 minutes of every fluctuation. The RAA announced yesterday it will be providing an independent service. South Australia's National Parks and Wildlife Service is calling for more park ranger volunteers. The program encouraging participants to work in some of the state's most unique parks across the Eyre Peninsula and Far West.
A dream job for Port Lincoln resident Tim Hall.
Being a National Parks and Wildlife Manager, yeah, it's pretty good.
Mr Hall encouraging locals to sign up for the opportunity. The National Park seeking volunteer rangers across the Eyre Peninsula and Far West, Riverland and Murraylands, Southern York Peninsula, Lower South East and Kangaroo Island areas.
It's a new initiative that we've had going for a little while now.
The rangers are crucial to park conservation and wildlife. The team helping with everything from taking visitors on safe and guided tours to helping with pest and animal control.
It's great getting out in our parks. This gives people an avenue to volunteer and experience perhaps a side of our parks that they don't normally see.
Mr Hall says the opportunity could eventually lead to a management position.
It's a good way of testing the waters, I suppose, if someone's interested in a career in park management.
The National Parks and Wildlife Service says it plans to build upon the already successful program, which celebrated a significant milestone last October, appointing 100 volunteer rangers. More information can be found online. Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The big green ribbon has been cut and the St. Pat's Races ticket office is opened in Argent Street. Broken Hill locals promise the event will go ahead and feel as normal a race meet as possible.
A small gesture, but a big moment for St Pat's organisers. Sales staff off and running this morning as gates opened at its Argent Street office.
Able to come in and talk to our staff face to face and kill that conjecture and those rumours that a race meeting won't go ahead. It is.
And with COVID restrictions at the new normal level, punters can expect it to feel like any other year.
If I go to the race meeting, is there a betting ring? Yes, there is. Can I stand up? Yes, you can. So really the restrictions are social distancing and sanitising where possible.
Most tickets so far have been purchased by interstate travellers. The race will go ahead in some format, even if borders close at the last minute. City businesses still planning for a busy weekend.
The hospitality businesses get plenty of people in and they start arriving in a few days before the race meeting. So from Wednesday onwards, you can normally look forward to a bit of increase in trade.
It'll be the first of our big 3 events to run this year.
We need a morale booster and just for our way of life, for our mental health, just for normality.
500 tickets and 1 corporate area are already sold. Locals told to get in before the horse bolts.
People have to pre-purchase even general admission tickets.
Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. We check the weekend's cricket action. And Alex Sykes will have the latest weather details. Hello again. Turning to sport now, and an amazing solo effort from Roger Puckridge has helped Southern Air record an upset win over the ladder leaders in Port Lincoln cricket. Here's Nathan Rector with the weekend wrap.
It was a weekend for the underdogs, with Waybacks and Southern Air both causing upsets in the latest round of Port Lincoln cricket. Charlton and Southern Air took to the field at Centenary Oval for match of the round, with both teams sitting in the top 4. Southern Air won the toss and batted first in this crucial clash. Their scorecard was a mix. 5 players made ducks and their 12 extras was the second highest scorer. However, they were saved by the efforts of Roger Puckridge. He scored 103 of the team's 139 runs, an innings that would prove to be vital as the wickets steadily fell around him. Southern Air ending their 50 overs at the crease on 9 for 139. Charlton, being top of the ladder, were favourites at the innings break. However, while all their batsmen got starts, nobody passed 25 in their innings. The ladder leaders couldn't make up the ground, bowled out for 122. In the other games, Waybacks narrowly defeated Tasman, while out at Dorwood Oval, Lincoln South won against undermanned Todd River, the win cementing their place in the top 4. Around the region now, and it was round 12 in Port Pirie cricket, with Propriety recording a 56-run win over Port Germain, while Southport defeated Wandera. In the Northern Super League, West Augusta were too strong for Rapina. North Whyalla defeated Corn. In the Central's Derby, the Whyalla version defeated their Port Augusta rivals by 9 wickets, and South Augusta had an 84-run win over West Whyalla. And in the Silver City, the Dogs are back on top after a 3-run win over West. The game was on a knife's edge, with some late sixes from West making for a nervous end. However, it was too little, too late. The result bringing the two sides level on top of the ladder with 3 rounds to play. And at Alma Oval, Central had a win over South. Congratulations to the winning teams. I'll be back tomorrow with the rest of sport.
Time now to check what's happening in the weather across the Spencer Gulf and Broken Hill. With all the details, here's Alex Sykes.
Thanks, John. It was a lovely, warm and generally sunny day across the region. From 3 p.m. today, Whyalla had a maximum of 24 degrees. Port Pirie reached 29. Whyalla was a degree cooler with 28. Looking at the rest of the region now, Cooper Pedy had clear skies and 30 degrees. Broken Hill had a top of 27. 28 for Woodner. Kadina was mainly fine and 23. A mild day for Port Lincoln with 21, and Adelaide had a high of 24 degrees. You can see on the satellite satellite image, the bright high cloud over Western South Australia ahead of a trough is not producing rain. Low cloud about southeastern coastal parts with onshore winds is also not producing rain. Skies are otherwise mostly clear in the state under a firm ridge of high pressure. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. South to southeasterly winds expected to reach up to 30 knots in the afternoon. Seas between 1 and 3 metres with south to southwesterly swells around the 2 metre mark. Mainly fine and warm conditions tomorrow. Port Lincoln will have 26 degrees, a high of 29 for Cleve, Woodna 33. While it can expect a maximum of 29, Port Augusta will be hot and sunny with 33 degrees there. Kadina just slightly cooler with a top of 30. Clear skies and 32 for Port Pirie. Clare will have 29 degrees as will Broken Hill. Taking a look further through the week now, fairly warm temperatures with humid conditions on Thursday. Broken Hill and Port Augusta will have tops of 33, showers and 32 in Port Pirie. Similar conditions in Whyalla with 30 degrees the top there, and showers also forecast for Kadina and Adelaide with highs of 27 and 28 respectively. Friday will cool down somewhat with the onset of some strong winds and showers in the south of the region. Fine conditions and 26 for Cooper Pedy, the same for Broken Hill, a maximum of 25 for Port Augusta, 24 for Whyalla and Port Pirie, Kadina 22 and Adelaide showers and a high of 20. Those showers should continue in the south of the region on Saturday with some mild to warm temperatures, mostly fine for Cooper Pedy and 29, 27 and sunny in Broken Hill, mostly sunny conditions for Port Augusta, Whyalla and Port Pirie, showers and 23 for Kadina and Port Lincoln. So we can expect a few showers towards the later part of the week, John, but that should begin to clear for the weekend. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Tuesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, and we will be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Until then, on behalf of the team, enjoy your evening. Good night.